I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
He always looked up to his older brother.
You and me, Jimmy. We're always gonna stick together.
But 27 years ago, he witnessed his murder.
Run, Jimmy, run!
And the death of the killers. Now they're back.
They came back for me. The boys who killed your brother are dead.
Who are they? What do they want?
Leave my family out of this!
Stephen King moves through a world of obsession and revenge.
Can't keep running from them!
Tim Matheson, Brooke Adams, Stephen King, Sometimes They Come Back, Saturday.
To Matt once again, welcome back to another video. This is a request from I Hate Facebook, a Patreon request. Thank you so much to everyone who has done that. If you're ever interested in requesting videos or reviews or re-reviews or any of that type, you can either do so directly via my PayPal or you do it by joining my Patreon. The links to both will be down in the info box. If not, no worries, but if so, thank you. Now, the review for today is for Sometimes They Come Back, which is a TV movie starring Tim Matheson. You also have Robert Russler, who is in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. And based on a Stephen King story, it's a film that got 2 sequels. One I didn't care for. The second one with, I believe Hilary Swank was in it. Michael Gross from Tremors. I just couldn't get into that one. There's a third one which took place in the snow, and I actually didn't mind that film. Maybe because I like Clayton Rohner as an actor, and that's one of the few times he'd have to be the lead in a movie. But I remember not minding the third one. But this one, I know people view the story as corny, cheeseball. It is limited by its budget because you don't get a lot of big effect scenes. You don't get a lot. It's not a gory, bloody movie at all. So because it's made for TV, there's limited stuff on that nature. But I did like the actors and I liked the story. That's the thing. I liked the story at the end of the day. And I thought the ending was sweet. Some people say it's too sweet or it's too, again, they use the word cheesy. I liked it though. Sorry, my nose is itching as it's raining heavily and the allergies are running wild. But the story, Tim Matheson plays a guy who moves in to a new house with his wife and his kid back into his old hometown. When he was a kid, many years ago, him, his older brother, they were trying to get to school. They were going through this tunnel where the train goes through, and these punks, sort of 50s greaser type of guys, they stop them. They want money. The kids say no, and one leads to another, and the older brother gets stabbed. And then the others, they get trapped in the car, and a train hits it, kills them, and then the younger kid is the only one who survives, and that's Tim Matheson's character. So he has flashbacks to that. He's a teacher at the school now, and now weird things are happening where his students are getting knocked off one by one. Either they're run off the road, or they're hung, or so forth. Each time someone dies, they come back. And yeah, I don't know why the webcam is going all apeshit crazy. Stop slowing down. I'm not Max Headroom. But yeah, I thought that it was interesting, the idea of when each one dies, that's when they come back. Because they slowly start where, oh, now Robert Russler's in class. And he's pretty much the head of this gang that died long ago. Then when another one of his kids is murdered, then a second person is the new kid in class. Then when another person, the third. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting little motif. Robert Russler, I liked him in Elm Street 2 as Grady. It was cool to see him again in this movie. I thought he did a good job in the role. He's definitely having fun, being sinister and such. I thought he was nice in that, in that category. Let's see. Tim Matheson I liked as an actor, whether it be in Animal House or in this other film I reviewed, a TV movie called Buried Alive. Thought that was a good one. And he was rather likable here as the lead. Tom McLaughlin, who directed it, he had also done Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Very competent director. Really, I got more out of this, the story, the emotional part of the story, not so much the horror aspect, weirdly enough. So I would say if there is a flaw with this film, number one, it's the limitations of the budget, because it's a TV movie. Because if I haven't said this, you don't have a lot of big effect scenes. You don't have much blood. The little bit is there's one kid where they kill off screen, but then they throw some parts of his body out the window, but it is shot fairly far away. There's a part where, oh, we don't show this guy our faces. No, not the face thing. And then they show him their chart of faces for when they had died. But yeah, I would say the horror elements, there's nothing in here that I found that intense horror-wise. There's a little stuff. Tim Matheson goes to the school bathroom, finds the 3 punch there, but there's no reflection in the mirror. I'm like, what, are they vampires? But no, it's a different thing. So it's a horror film because it's about people coming back after they've died and they're killing innocent people. But it's not the horror that enthralled me in this. It was really the story itself, where I like Tim Matheson, the tragedy of what happened back then, the bad guys, how they keep fucked with Tim Matheson and keep threatening him, and how they're making him appear to look like an asshole at school, so the principal sees certain things that could jeopardize Tim Matheson's career as a teacher, where Robert Russ is like, hey, well, what are you doing, teacher? What are you doing? When the higher-ups are watching, again, to fuck with Tim Matheson's life. Even when you get to the third act, there was a 4th member of the group that did escape. It's the older version is played by William Sanderson, who I've seen in quite a few stuff. He was one of the Daryls in the TV show Newhart. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. So technically he wasn't Daryl, but he had brothers named Daryl. So if once in a while I reference that, that's where it's from. Because William Sanderson would say that line to Bob Newhart all the time. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. I just liked the way he said it. He was also in Blade Runner. He's a guy who, one of the people, Roy Batty and them, ask about who created them, and Daryl Hannah kind of flirts with him. He's been in a lot of other stuff too, William Sanderson. He was one of the people helping Bruce Willis in Last Man Standing from 1996 and others. He's not in it too much, but it was nice to see him in there. He's a good character actor. And then the ending, people think is a bit schmaltzy, which I can understand, but I was fine with it in this instance. I liked how it played out. Again, I think the limitations of the budget kind of hurt it, where certain way things looked. Spoiler alert, to better explain that, starting now. Because what happens at the end is everyone's together in the tunnel. The three villains, Tim Matheson, William Sanderson, and then the bad guys have Tim Matheson's wife and kid. William Sanderson gets stabbed, and he even tells Tim, for every life they take, another comes back. And so then the older brother is able to come back. He's still in kid form. But the way he comes back and they open this portal, I don't know why, it remind me of when they open, almost, if you know the TV show Quantum Leap, when Al sometimes opens his portal to go through, kind of almost look like that. So it's stuff like that you kind of wish it wasn't a TV movie and it was a full like theatrical film. Plus with a theatrical film, maybe you could have got more intense on some of the violence or the horror aspects so that the horror would be a bit stronger. Because here it kind of seems a bit tame. I mean, not just compared to today, but even back then for the 90s. But yeah, why the older brother, the kid who's the older brother of Tim Matheson, he didn't know he was dead. And like Tim Matheson almost has to convince him that, yes, you're a ghost. Thanks for helping me. Now goodbye. But I'm thinking, why doesn't he know? Because the bad guys know. They know they're dead. I mean, they've known this. So why is this kid in the dark? So that's why it was a bit confusing. Like, the bad guys know they're dead. They're not like, are we dead? Wait, we're dead? But the brother, I don't know. I guess if you die and you go there, I guess that's maybe, I'm trying to think of an explanation. I guess really the bad guys, they would have gone to hell, but no, if he was a good guy, he would just went to heaven. So why would he forget all these years? What, you were frozen in cryostasis? You were frozen where Stallone was frozen, Demolition Man? You know, and thought out to fight Simon Phoenix? So I didn't understand that plot point. Where I did, Tim Matheson literally has to explain, no, you're dead. But now everything's okay, because I think there's a piece of dialogue where you could not be free because something had to be set right, but now you are free. But wouldn't that be the case with the bad guys? So they wouldn't know if they were dead or not, but again, they did know. And in fact, they were able to do all this other supernatural stuff. So I was waiting for the brother to do supernatural stuff too, but he couldn't. He didn't do anything. Like, he didn't do a whole lot other than maybe a little bit of physical stuff. So again, I was expecting, oh, now he'll do some supernatural stuff, but for good, while they were doing it for evil. But no, that doesn't really happen. So again, it's like, so apparently if you're good, you won't remember shit, and you won't have any powers. But if you're bad, you will. You'll remember, you'll know, you have more knowledge, and you'll have powers. So I'm like, wow, what a shitty deal. But that's just me. But yeah, with that said, again, I liked the story for the most part. I liked the emotional core of the story. I felt for Tim Matheson, his loss for his brother, having to deal with these three punks. Robert Russler, I thought he was fun as the villain. You could tell he was having a lot of joy in the role, which was different from his role in Elm Street Part 2, which I really liked him in that as well. Sadly, Robert Russler didn't a ton of roles that I remember in the later on. That's right, he was also in Weird Science. He was good in that. He was one of the guys paired up with Robert Downey Jr. in Weird Science. And like I say, the story I thought was rather sweet, and I didn't mind the setup. I didn't mind the idea behind it, and I thought Tom McLaughlin's direction was fairly competent. Again, there's certain issues with the story, and then limitations of the budget, and so the horror was not really that, I don't want to say in the forefront, but it wasn't that intense. It wasn't that horrific. It was more sweet in a way than horrific. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But overall, I do like the film. Should they remake it with a bigger budget? I don't know, because on one hand, you could maybe improve on the horror aspects. On the other hand, how they do nowadays, they probably cast it wrong, and that would ruin the story, which is the best aspect to me of this film. So I don't know. If they keep remaking, if they try to remake other Stephen King stories, they'll probably eventually get to this one. But with that said, I'd rather watch this than some of the stuff at the time, like Tommy Knockers. I've never been a fan of Tommy Knockers. Or I can't think of other stuff that came around that time. Some of those Children of the Corn sequels. Yeah, pretty decent flick. So thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.